You are now listening to Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, the voice for the people. Join Richie alongside co-host property damage attorney Hans Kennon as they bring light to the taboo world of big insurance companies, exposing their tactics and fighting for justice. Hear stories from contractors across the state. Contractor Talk, here to protect homeowners and uncover the truth.
All right. Welcome to the show, Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, every Monday night right here on this fine radio station, 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial. So we're live here in Central Florida. You got another shot at us at the show here, anywhere you like to stream, Spotify, iTunes, and then if you like to watch, and that's the way you like to consume, YouTube. Like us, subscribe us there, contractortalkpodcast.com is where you find it all. But check us out on YouTube. Like us, subscribe us there, and you won't miss a show. Speaking of, Hans Kennon is back, and with his dapper suit of the week, come in for the zoom in. But in any week, you will never catch this man in the same ensemble as you would in any other show. And I dare you to go back and check out years and years of shows that we've done in different formats and different backgrounds too. This is a very American background.
It is. And very patriotic here.
Ooh, I can barely hear you. Are you plugged in, or am I just? I don't know. All right. This is live production right here. I see a cable not plugged in over here. So if anything, you hear Hans in the background saying something. But there we go. I love it. And see, this is happening live right there. You know.
You're just hearing me? No,
I'm not. Definitely, I'm still not hearing you. I wonder if I got to turn this on.
You got to turn this on.
There we go. How about that?
Whoa, I got you now in my ear. There.
Yeah, okay. You got it in the ear, but I don't have you in the...
I'm not in the mix. In the mix.
Well,
I'll have to go back to my...
Either way. All right. So, I'm just so interested in which plug or which wire goes into what plug. So this is good stuff over here. So anyways, all right. So,
there we go.
There we go. Now you are live in my ears right now.
It's like magic. It's like magic. It is. The trials and tribulations of doing it live. No retakes here. We're just live without a net here at the 94.9.
Love it. All right, so let's start over again. Let's do this again. Welcome back, Hans Kennon. What's going on?
Good. Glad to be back. I missed 2 weeks. I haven't missed 2 weeks in years.
No kidding. And back to back is something about I have to go see the Northern Lights. I have to go do some vacationing. The wife wants me to do that.
No, she did not want to go. But we went above the Arctic Circle for 12 days, and it's like zero. It was like minus 27 one morning.
It's like what it is in New York right now?
Pretty much. It actually is. With less snow, but more cold. So we went up, I called it Hans's Search for Santa was the subtext. The rest of it was, I always want to see the Northern Lights. And January, February is the best time to go up there. So we were at 71 degrees north, which is the end, the most north continent on the planet. And you go out to this place called North Cape, and you look out and you look down, and it's just, the world ends, and it's just water and ice, and there's nothing else. And you're out there at night, and it's a little surreal. Be honest with you. You drive out there on this bus for like 40 minutes, just driving through nothing. There's no lights, there's no people, no other cars, just darkness. It's like driving on the moon. And you get out there, and there's this giant globe sphere thing, and the wind's blowing. Like I said, it's nighttime, and you look out into nothingness. And out of nowhere, like these colors of purple and green and pink come out of the sky. There's a little metaphysical aspect to all that, I have to say. So
yeah.
But it was great that we had a nice time. It was nice to get away, and I'd always wanted to see that, and so we got a chance. So it worked out, man. It was very nice.
That's awesome.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I've never been there. Never been to that side, and that is the most. What would you say? The most northern point?
Yeah, the most northern point of any continent, other than ice and water.
Huh. So it's different than, I don't know, what's up there? I mean, Iceland?
Iceland's more south than that, at least the point that we were. And it's in Finland, it's in Finland, and then right before you cross over into Norway. And Tremos is a big city up there. Avalo, we had a hotel, I guess, a cabin in Avalo where the ceilings are made of glass. And so we got to literally laid in bed and looked out the ceiling and saw Northern Lights.
Wow.
I mean, it was really, the whole thing, man. I got to tell you, it was really something.
Wow.
Really something.
Wow. Well, welcome back. You brought
Thank
all the
you.
cold with you.
I did. I didn't think I had that power. I need to harness it for good.
Well, but by the time our streaming show comes out, I think the cold might be gone for Florida. But today, Monday, we are experiencing just freezing temperatures all over the United States, even down to, I think it skipped us in Central Florida. We were in the 40s and 50s, and it got, I think, down in South Florida, I think somewhere down in Miami in the 30s.
Yeah, it got cold. I remember I went out this morning to take the trash out, and I went, oh, man, it's cold. And I realized it's literally 50 degrees warmer here than it was there. And I'm like, oh, it's cold. It's different. When you come back, it's different.
No kidding. It's a different cold here. It's a humid cold, and it's like wearing a wet, cold blanket.
Yes.
Now right now it's lacking humidity, and I don't like it. I don't like the dry cold, that's for sure. It's a little bit different for me. But anyways, here on the show we talk a lot about insurance-related claims, what's going on in the marketplace today, and we're in the middle of our Florida legislative session, and you haven't seen us get all hyped up about much.
No.
And I think it's just because we know that there's nothing that's really going to happen. There's nothing that either side has an appetite for.
Which is a shame, because we talk about, because Danny Perez has been very good to us in attempting to make things better for the consumers of Florida. And the fact that Senator Albritton literally in the paper just said, we don't expect to see any insurance changes this year, which in some ways is good, because for as long as you and I have been doing this, I still say to myself, there's nothing else they can do to screw the consumer, is there? Right. And we think, I can't think of anything. And they're like, then they come up with something. We're like, oh, I didn't even think of that.
Right.
So it looks like nothing's going through on that side either. So, I mean, that's a little bit of cold comfort. But it looks like nothing's going to help the consumer either.
Right. I mean, some of the things that were getting traction early on was something like the 5-year or more of life expectancy on your roof surface. That is already a law, and it was set in, I believe, in March of 2023 during that legislative session. And that was there to help consumers not get a non-renewal letter or a we can't write you because of your the roof or the age of your roof, and if you don't have 5+ years of life expectancy, then they don't want to write your roof at all, give you any coverage for it. So prior to, it was like willy-nilly with the insurance companies whether they want to write you or not, and so so many people were getting these non-renewal letters, and even some of them from the insurer of last resort, which is the state-owned Citizens Property Insurance Company, which should just be there for reinsurance purposes. To be honest with you, it should not be messing with everyday policies. I mean, they ballooned up to 1.3 million policies, and they're supposed to be the insurer of last resort.
And they're the biggest insurer in the state.
Right. Yeah, they were the number one insurer, and that's only because they got capped a few years ago. It's a lot of our crew at FJA who's really behind all that to ensure that Citizens wouldn't screw over the folks of Florida by capping them at, you can't get more than 15% increase, and it starts at 10% and it goes 1% additional every year. So they were capped, and then all of a sudden the fake crisis came about, and everybody started going 100%, 200% up, and Citizens was the lower one on the totem pole because of law. They had to. They couldn't get any more than a 12%, 13% increase year after year up to 15%. So they ballooned up to 1.3 million policies out of 6.5 million policies, and they put all this junk into their policies that say that you have to use our preferred pretender or you get 10 grand. It's like, you guys in the auto stuff screwed everything up. It's like 10 grand is everything. It's like, why did you guys do that? I feel like it's your guys' fault. But no, I mean, they think that you could do something with 10 grand, and that's the dry out, the tarp, the inspections, the everything you need to build back the drywall, all that for 10 grand, or you have to use our preferred pretender, which then you're stuck to somebody else's. It's like you're paying full premium for medical, right? And then you end up getting DMV, or excuse me, you end up getting like a welfare type of care. care, and you're like, wait, I paid for this top grade,
Right.
and I'm getting Medicare type of care. So it's like, what is that? Same thing as Citizens. You're getting this policy that you think you're covered, and then when you go to file a claim, you find out it's like, okay, I have to use this clown or I get $10,000. And it's like, some people are like, my damages are 50 grand, 60 grand easy, so I have to use them. And who are they referencing out? It's going to be the low bidder, right? The person that doesn't have a good quality crew, probably not insured, probably doesn't use adequate employees that are registered. It would be a heavy situation if I showed up to all of these rebuilds. So, what can we do about it? Is my question, right? I mean, because then Citizens depopulated because of all these new companies who are still owned by insurance company executives pop up, and then they get gifted all of these policies from Citizens with this crappy policy language in it. So they're building these contractor networks, and they're monopolizing the industry. They're telling you who you can use, how much you can spend. And now I'm hearing price fixing. I heard the other day somebody was like, yeah, I turned in an invoice for this. And the insurance company said, yeah, we got a comparative estimate, so we're only going to pay you that much. And that's it. And I'm like, what in the world is this going? You can't price fix and just be like, okay, yeah, that's all we're going to pay because that's what we can pay Joe Schmo. Well,
the problem I want to do is with Xactimate, which is the estimating program written by insurance companies, chosen by insurance companies. They never really even want to pay what that says. So, I mean, if they came back and said, we'll pay what the Xactimate says, they wouldn't even do that. So they go outside and they get someone who will low bid it below what Xactimate would want for it, even though that's the system that they started, they populated, and they maintain. They complain about it. So trust me, if every Xactimate estimate got paid, we'd all those at this table would be thrilled with that. But they don't. They go find a guy who'll do it for 5, 8, 10 grand less than Xactimate, and then tell you that's all you get. And those people, us who know,
but those aren't the people that are actually doing the work. Those are people sitting behind a desk going, "Oh, I just gave you a comparative estimate."
Right.
And it just bites my butt every time that they do that. It's like, yeah, that's price fixing. You can't do that. And we need to stand up and we need to have some teeth in it. But, prior to you'd have the assignment of benefit where contractor can go right to the insured and say, nope. And we have a different dispute, but now we have to keep the homeowner in it. There's no assignment of benefits, and there's no fees that could be split off. And so you then have to go back to the homeowner and say, hey, especially in the price fixing situation, hey, I billed $10,000, they paid me $5,000, I guess you owe me $5,000. And that happens to even the insurers, contractor network people that come out. They'll do the same thing. And I know one of the guys who sold his company. He was a big Central Florida company owner. He sold it by now. I guess I can talk about it. Baxter guy. Baxter Restoration. I mean, he sold it out there. All of his business was from the insurance companies. I'm like, man, after these big storms, I'm like, dude, you should be doing phenomenal. All these just checks coming in left and right. He's like, no. We're leaning houses left and right because the insurance company isn't even paying us. And then I'm like, well, that's not good for you. I mean, that doesn't do much. I mean, I was thinking about his Google ratings, his Better Business Bureau, rating that probably doesn't exist. And he's just like, listen, man. I mean, that's why he's wanting to get out of it. Right. And he's been out of it for years now. But always having to chase his money, and the insurance company was sending him out. And so he said, well, I hate doing it, but the insured gets so mad that they raise a bunch of a commotion with the insurer, and finally the insurer then pays me. Then we release a lien, and it's like, and I'm like, man, that's just a lot of work and a lot of pissing people off to get what you should have been paid to begin with. So if they're doing it to their own network contractors, can you imagine what they're doing to what they consider these out-of-network contractors, right? With this whole price fixing. Hey, somebody that's not going to do the job sitting over there says that they can do it for cheaper. And I'm like, okay, that's great. Well, why don't you pay them that low amount and see if they'll go do it?
Well, look, it's so different than
do a good job
than an Xactimate estimate that the insurer puts out that says we're going to replace 2 shingles on your roof, and with the labor minimums and a couple of shingles, it's like $800.
Right.
And you get in litigation and you go, who will do the work? And they're like, well, we don't know. Can you point me to anybody who will do the work? No. Well, how do you know it's what it costs? Because that's what the system says. It's like that's what the machine says. I said, well, let's just agree that's the cost. Can you give my client the name of someone who'll do the work and warranty the work for that price? Absolutely not. I mean, and they never can, and they never will be able to. And then if they do hire some outside contractor to do the work, that people don't realize it, they want the insured to sign the contract, even though the insurer is directing that contractor to the insured.
Right. They don't want to have any liability, and the insurance company doesn't. Yeah. But yet it's in their policy that they have to select a contractor. They actually select the contractor, and then if something goes awry, they're like, "Oh, no, wasn't us. No liability. Sorry."
Oh yeah, and I've had it happen with State Farm, and when they had their I think they stopped doing it actually. Whatever it was called back then. Preferred provider, one of those preferred provider programs, whatever they called it. Mm-hmm. And I had a client who signed a contract and was unhappy with the work. And State Farm did nothing to help their insured when they sent that contractor out pursuant to their policy language. It wasn't like, here's a recommendation. They were like, this guy's going to do the work. And I told my client, and the next time I remember that came up, before the guy signed, I said, whatever you do, don't sign the contract.
Right.
Make the insurer sign. The insurer's got to guarantee it. Otherwise, you're going to get sued if you're not happy with the work, or they'll lien your house. Mm-hmm. I think it's still lien it, in all honesty, but at least you have a little more teeth there. But I've seen them many times.
Right. Oh, it's just frustrating where they take your right away to use your own contractor, and to nobody's benefit, like you're saying, it's just it's a big hassle, right? And so some contractors are saying, go ahead and let them do it, and then call me back after they're done, and we'll do a full inspection and see how bad they actually did. Because a lot of times they're not going to do the job up to current code, and it's going to be an issue, and they're going to have to pay to redo it all over again with contractors that are licensed, that are insured, that are bonded, that have folks that work for them, that are legal to work here in this state and in this country. So,
like that, I've told clients before, especially on roof replacements, what they should do is hire someone like a public adjuster or a contractor, someone with some depth of knowledge. And so you got to pay them, unfortunately, but have them stay, have them be there when the job starts. Because once you start taking off decking, once you're putting decking on, it's hard to tell what got done. So I say hire someone to go for maybe a few days, hopefully just nothing more than a few days, and watch them put it on, take pictures of the progress, make sure that the interim inspection, the guy comes by. They're allowing you to do some of that now by drone and submitting the photos to the building department without the building inspector coming out. They change that around for $75. I think in Orange County you can do it that way now. But with all that, I said hire somebody. Now, what I always say too, and as I sit here week after week, and I say to myself, now if I needed some public adjuster to go out and spend a handful of days keeping an eye on a construction project, as I sit here at this desk, who could I think of to do that, who might be, at the same table as I'm sitting right now, who might be available to do such a task, if only there was such a person.
Right. I mean, only if somebody that had such a deep knowledge of this industry, but that would be Brian Christensen. And now,
there you go. See,
coast to coast adjusters. What's going on as he looks left and right? Yeah, that's you. What's going on, Brian?
Good evening, guys.
What's going on, man? That was a long warm up, man. We got
been a long time.
It's a slow build. It's a slow build.
Yeah. But that's what we like to do here on the show. But no, that's good. That's a good thought there, and it's exactly what I would recommend. If you're in that situation, you're a consumer listening now, you have one of those policies, maybe People's Distrust or any of those others that have this preferred pretender type of policy language in there, you have to use their monkeys in their circus, right? But there are choices. You can still bring in a public adjuster. You can still bring in a contractor to oversee this. Brian, what's going on, man? And tell me about some of your experience have been with these policies when you're trying to help out a homeowner and some experiences you've had with them.
Lately, the policies are garbage. It's an overpriced pieces of paper that don't really cover anything. So I've got to be the one that goes into a house that's entirely flooded out from a broken pipe, and I look open the slide policy, and I said, you got $10,000.
LDW, baby.
And at first, they're angry at me. And I'm like, I didn't buy the policy. They're like, well, I just got it renewed. So not knowing what's in the policy is probably the biggest hurdle that we have to deal with right now because...
Well, explain that. So they opened it up and they saw the deck page and it said 10,000. What do you mean by that?
So they opened it up and saw the deck page and realized they got a couple $100,000 in coverage A. And then certain carriers, it should be under a limited water endorsement under the policy. And a lot of them are being hidden. I know of two right now where the first mention of a $10,000 water cap is on page 51. Mm-hmm. And if anybody reads the jacket of the policy, and then all of a sudden you get to the special provisions and everything, if you did read the first 80 pages, all changes. So the policy changes if you read the very back end of it. So not knowing what's in the policy is the first thing that is really, really hurting to just get a renewal. And so I didn't have a limited warranty endorsement before. I had all the way up to coverage A if I had a broken pipe in my $30,000 kitchen.
How can they do that? They just auto-renew you with this?
Just auto-renew it and just...
No discount?
Make sure you read your policy.
Wow.
So
yeah, if they're going to cap you, they should have something in exchange, a discount in exchange.
And they may have a $10, $20, $30, $50, $100 credit. It might exist.
Man.
A lot of it comes to the agents of selling it. A lot of agents don't know what they're selling, the policy they're selling. This happened to me. I said I wanted 3 things when they non-renewed my policy when I lived in Belle Isle. I want no water cap. I want to be able to demand appraisal, single-party demand appraisal, and I want no 1% matching of undamaged materials.
Mm-hmm.
And my agent said, here's 2 policies. Here's kin policy, and here's slide. I was like, let me see the policy. I can't do it until it's in place. So I got it, and I said, I've got an email here that says I wanted these 3 things. I said, hope you're E&O insurance as well, because if I ever made a claim and didn't know what I was talking about here, I'm not going under my policy. I'm going under yours.
Oh, yeah.
I had one today. I have a lady who had a 20-year-old. No one was sure how old her roof was, and we figured it out during mediation. But it was a 20-year-old roof on a. Was it Tip Tap this afternoon? No, was it Tip Tap? Who was it? I'm trying to think. I had 3 today. That's what I'm trying to think. It might have been Ken. Might have been a Ken policy. But Ken policy has that roof schedule. So I explained to her that based on the age of her roof, even if I put it into litigation and we won, she would not get more than what I was getting her today in mediation. And she was just like, how does that work? And I said,
ask myself that question on a daily. Now, how do you, I would be so mad. And you, I guess we're all lucky that I don't have my law license, because I would be so mad at that. But we'd be looking at attacking that. I don't think, how does it work here when the Florida statute says you get paid? You get paid back on an HO3 policy, right? Tell me she had an HO3 policy.
She had an HO3 policy.
Okay, you're supposed to get replacement cost value in ordinance and law. So tell me why she's not getting replacement cost value on her damages to her roof.
Mostly because in today's day and age, not being prior to December 16th of 2022, unfortunately, she'd have to pay me by the hour to go litigate whether that is an improper, that limitation is improper under the HO3 statute. And honestly, that would take a long time and thousands of hours and thousands of dollars to do. And in all candor, it's just not something that can be done. If you want to take on the industry and say, hey, that HO3 requires you get replacement cost, this actually gives you less than replacement cost. There's no recoverable depreciation aspect. Nothing can get you back to replacement. I agree with you. I get the argument. I make the argument all the time that the policy is in violation of the statute. And, the guy's like, yeah, well, okay, I'm still making an offer at 25. I said, the policy's in violation.
Are you in lit, or is this pre-lit?
It's all pre-lit stuff.
All pre-lit. So if you were in lit, could you file like a PMSJ or something on that issue?
Peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was going to say,
like more of a partial summary judgment, but now I want a peanut butter and jelly.
That's all I
great,
can think
thanks.
was peanut butter and jelly at that point. I mean, the reality is in litigation, the case you'd have to bring is really a declaratory judgment action, finding that they're doing it wrong. That's kind of what it ended up being. And it's just it's one of those things that in this climate, it's hard to take that step because, again, in all candor, it's difficult to do just because of the cost and time involved. To become an all-consuming case that literally...
And you can't run bad faith along with it.
Correct.
As you did, or you could before 2022.
Correct.
Man, so many things have changed, and it's not getting any better for the consumer here in the state of Florida, that's for sure. We were hoping to see things that would help reduce premiums here in the state of Florida on the property side of things, and or give some power back to the consumer to allow them to not get screwed by their insurer, especially on the roof age. You got to get replacement cost value back to the homeowner. All right, so we're going to take a break, give some thanks to our sponsors. We'll be right back. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. There we go. Now we're live. 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. Thanks so much for joining us tonight here in Central Florida, live every Monday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., and then over in a few days, over to anywhere you like to stream. On Spotify, iTunes, and then, of course, a few days after that, we'll be on YouTube. So like and subscribe us there. Don't miss any show. Doing this for several years in different formats, different radio stations. I like it because we get the live radio aspect. So you can call in, you can ask questions, be a part of the show. And then we are on anywhere that people like to stream. People like to carry their phones around and plug it into their cars and as they're driving down the road, listen to their podcasts and such like that. So some people are just straight up YouTubers. So we appeal to all listeners and people that like to consume our show in any different format. So, but today we have Brian Christensen. He's a public adjuster here in the state of Florida, and you're expanding your business, man. And so that's amazing, man. When I met you, Brian, it was 10 plus years ago. You're a restoration contractor, and just as in avocation mode as myself for the consumer, and now you're helping out consumers with a new cape on, and this is to help them get hopefully paid fairly on their insurance claim.
Yes, and everything is a fight with them, no matter what it is.
It really is.
So, but yeah, it's appreciate you guys having us on, and yes, we're looking to expand and go up and down the state, and it's been a little difficult on the PA side just because no policies don't cover it much anymore, which I could never understand. You're required to buy a policy to cover the mortgage on the house, but doesn't meet the requirements of the mortgage. Go figure that.
Right. And they're the biggest lobby in the state of Florida, right? Outside of insurance is mortgage. And it's like, where are these mortgage companies, right? Where are the powerful mortgage people in this in this lobbying thing? I mean, we were up there, as you know, you were up there too, and we were like, where are the mortgage guys on this? I mean,
they're nowhere.
I mean,
literally, they're nowhere.
Well, I haven't heard them yet. That hasn't hit them financially enough yet.
Well, Brian's case was the one that went almost to the Supreme Court, Restoration 1 versus Ark Royal, and where they said the whole issue was like, all parties didn't sign it, including the mortgage company, right? An agreement between you and your contractor, and they were making that a thing. And you're like, I've never seen a mortgage company sign anything, let alone within like 3 days and all this other stuff and whatever, like the guidelines we were tasked with. But that was right before 2019. So it went up 2018. And then 2019, we had, because that appeal went up, and then it ended up getting taken all the way up to, I think it was an offset between like an OIR lawsuit and then, of course, Restoration 1 versus Ark Royal. And that issue on all folks have to sign it, all parties have to sign it, including a mortgagee, to make an assignment of benefit valid. Well, like I said, that went up to the Supreme Court. 2019, House Bill 7065 came out, which was the AOB law that put in 627-7152 statute. And they then said it was moot because now this said that the assignment was between an assignor and assignee. So there you go. Brian's part of history there, right there. But when we do ask that, where are the mortgage companies in this? To your thought process there, if you get underpaid, or if you're like one of the folks in the paper after 50% of all insureds after Hurricane Milton did not get paid, they got denied or paid under deductible. And
everything was always just under.
Just under. It's like your deductible was $8,000. Oh, we saw damage $7,995. Almost there.
So we wanted to pay.
We really did. We know you got damage. But hey, this is, and so people are left then with what they can do, right? I mean, so if you're not putting it back to pre-loss condition, now you're having hodgepodge Frankenstein roofs and houses and windows that don't match and are not up to code. I mean, why aren't the mortgage companies more up in arms on this?
Haven't been financially hit yet. It hasn't cost them the money to get them involved yet. And if it doesn't cost them money, it's business as usual.
Man. That's just crazy. That's their liability, right? I mean, somebody then can't afford to put their house back together. They do their best. They give it back to the bank, and then the bank has to then put the windows back in, put the roof on, put everything that they needed to do out of their own pocket.
And if your house is flooded and you let it go, you got about $100,000 mold job if you got the entire house completely affected.
Yeah. And I don't get that, and why mortgage companies aren't standing up and saying, no, you you need to pay the full amount, and the roof is the biggest portion of that asset, the biggest cost. And why they're not saying to them, they're saying you can't have these roof surface schedules out there. You know, I mean, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe it makes the insureds, maybe it scares them into having to replace their roof, right? I mean, even though they don't have to. I mean, Hans have seen it many times to where they get a client that then files a claim. Their insurance company sends them a letter, says, no, there's not enough damage to your roof to give you, or there's we're going to fix 2 shingles. Outside of that, we're good. And then on renewal time, they say, you know what, we're not going to renew you because your roof is out of shape.
Yeah.
You're like, I thought you just said it was fine. And what?
It was fine to take the premium.
Right. It sure was.
But now when it's time to pay out.
Yeah, there's a lot of distance between underwriting and claims.
Right.
I mean, underwriting, like, you know, I had a case recently where they insured a home 6 months before the loss. 6 months. Underwriting was like, hey, 2 thumbs up, man, you're good. Just mail us a check. And he was insured. And 6 months later, they had a loss, and claims is like, it's just so funny. Like, underwriting's like, everything's cool, man. Just send us a check. And claims is like, oh my God, do we insure this house? Is this? I can't even believe, what were they thinking? I mean, and they're like just in this disarray over everything. And I'm like, 6 months ago, these guys were like, the house is completely insurable, not a problem. And it's all that post-loss underwriting we see,
Right.
which is go back and all of a sudden it's pre-existing and all these things. And you're like, well, the underwriting guys didn't think it was.
Right.
What's up with you relied on the 4-point inspection to insure the property, but now the 4-point inspection doesn't mean anything in claims.
No.
Meaningless.
And I mentioned that there is a bill that was traveling through. I think it got stopped up a little bit, but there was one that was going through that said it talked more about the 5-year or life expectancy or more. It added another person that could say it outside of roofer or engineer. It says that if you're a roof observer, that's some sort of new certification they're going to give up, that you can also determine if there's 5 years or more of life expectancy on the roof. Well, then that would allow the insurance company to give you coverage and not renew. Require them to do so. And they couldn't non-renew based off of that fact alone. So that means you get coverage for it. But now in there, they said one part of it that sounded decent to me is said that you would get reimbursed for such inspection up to $300. Because right now, if you want a discount for your premium, you have to pay for your 4-point and win mitt and give it to the insurance company. And then they say, okay, thank you. Now we're going to give you a discount. Right? They should be paying for that anyways if they want, to know what the condition of the house is. Because when they do take that payment, the condition of your house is called insurable. That's what it's called. It's called insurable. They now, if you have a loss after that, you are getting paid for that loss because they should have caught it up front. No pre-loss underwriting, as you stated there, Hans. And they do that all the time. They say, oh, no, man, it's wear and tear. It's old age. It's the whole 18-year-old dog gets hit by a bus. And you're like, well, wait, what? Was it old or was it worn and torn? I mean, is it? No, it's still, you still got to pay for it, right? And so it's that whole... I'm just like, ooh, and Brian was saying it on the break here, these adjusters on the other side, it's like they let go of all the senior folks, the claims adjusters that had seniority, that knew what they were doing. And now we're left with these folks that just don't know what they're doing. They just got their 620 certification online last week.
Now they're experts at rebuilding your house.
Aren't they, though?
And some of the denials that we're seeing are just absolutely silly. Like I've got a lady right now in Altamont, 11 windstorms came through and damaged the roof on her condo. She doesn't own the condo roof. Right. It was denied without an adjuster even going out there for groundwater. Problem is she is unit 306. Yeah. She's on the 3rd floor.
So Noah was coming by with the ark at that point, and she didn't get on. She decided not to get on the boat on the 3rd floor. How high is that water there, son? I don't know.
Well, that and most of your carriers think mold takes 30 days to grow. I have heard that. So 30 days, anytime State Farm's seeing some mold there, it's been going on for 30 days.
Leave a coffee cup on your dresser and walk away from it for a couple of days.
Put a piece of bread out. Leave that there for a couple of days. I think that'll debunk that theory.
No kidding. No kidding. That right now is not enough humidity right now. Oh, my God. What's happening to Florida?
But now what I've seen lately is they're just sending out denials with, hey, it's been wear and tear. And I'm looking at it going, what's the cause of loss? Mm-hmm. I was actually in mediation the other day, and I asked them what the cause of loss was, and they gave me the wrong one. And I said, well, here's the
actual cause of loss that you've had
And then they go, now we're going back into a reinspection to get this covered.
I mean, we've seen that with State Farm recently. Not all the time, but once in a while I get a letter that says, there's so much damage, we can't figure it out. So since we can't figure it out, we're denying coverage.
Right.
And I've seen it over and over, and I look at the guy and go, you can't do that. Like that, it's
There's
not
so much we can't compute.
I said, you have on an HO3 policy, and even though State Farm's not a pure HO3, it is an HO3 in its content. I said, you have to exclude. You have to tell me why it's excluded. You can't just say we can't. Ties go to the runner. Ties go to the insured. If you can't figure it out, you know what that means? It's covered.
Right.
And I do CRNs when I do civil remedy notices for bad faith on all those, put those into suit, and State Farm will call and pay.
Well, then they deny everything on a period of time.
Right.
Ask them how long a period of time is.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody can. They can deny it.
Right.
But they can't tell you how long that period of time
somewhere
is.
between here and there. It's just whatever.
But but the problem is an insured gets that letter, and I always talk about the fact if 100% of the people who got those letters called me, or called Brian, or called Richie or somebody, there would be so much work it'd be unbelievable. But people get it and they kind of shrug their shoulders, or scared of the insurer, scared of the implication, rather just pay it. Don't want to get non-renewed. I mean, the amount of things people call me sometimes after a year, and I'll be like, where you been? And someone will just go, we were just nervous. We thought they'd do the right thing. We thought they'd come around. And now with the 12-month statute, we're already making a claim. When we talk about if they don't call, on October 9th of 2025, Milton was done. No matter what happened to your house, no matter what your thoughts were, it was too late and it's all over.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, you just said the magic date for Hurricane Milton.
Yes.
Now, if you did file Hurricane Milton claim and you were one of the 77% of citizens' clients that were denied, or 76% of people's distrust of folks that then filed a claim, were paid under deductible or denied, you have until April 9th of 2026 to call Brian, call Hans, call somebody to then take your claim to the next level. And that's what they call a supplement. You have 18 months to supplement from the date of loss. So if you filed a claim and you weren't happy with the outcome, then you have a chance, possibly, to be able to get more money on your claim.
Do me a favor, don't call me April 9th, please.
At least April 8th or before. So we're going to take a break, give some thanks to our sponsor. We'll be right back. Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell. All right, we're back live on Contractor Talk with Richie Kidwell, 94.9 FM, 950 on the AM dial, and over to you streaming Spotify, iTunes, and of course on YouTube. Like us, subscribe us there. Today we're talking with Brian Christensen, Coast to Coast Adjusters, and just like we were talking about a BNI group, go ahead and give me your 30-second elevator speech. Tell me about yourself and your company.
We are a public adjusting firm. We represent homeowners and business owner insurance claims. We do everything in-house. We got in-house estimator. We've got desk adjusters that settle, negotiate settlements for everybody, while my outside adjusters are out in the field meeting engineers, adjusters, anybody that the insurance company wants to send back out after an inspection or to an initial inspection. On average, we are about 200 to 300% more using us than without us, and it's getting worse. It's getting absolutely worse, where desk adjusters are just trying to throw spaghetti at the wall and hopefully it sticks, and hopefully you just go away and take the pennies and have to come out of pocket tens and tens of thousands of dollars to get your house back to a pre-loss condition, where we come in, we take over the claim for you, we write our own estimate, we negotiate a settlement for you.
That's awesome. I mean, you take it a step further than somebody's, like, say, their agent would, right? Because that's what they think when, if I wasn't in the industry, I would think if I had a claim, I would just call my agent and they would just do everything for me, right? Because that's what I called them. That's what they tell me they would do. I'm in good hands. They're a good neighbor. All that stuff would exist, right? But these days, you have to be represented in order to get a fair shake. And that's because they took away our attorney's fees. They took away bad faith. They took away any resource that a consumer has against their insurer in case they get slow walked or underpaid or wrongfully denied. There isn't much for them.
No consumer protections.
There really isn't. It really isn't. Their worst day 2 years later is what they should have paid you on day one. There's no penalties, no fees. So it's worse than the IRS. I mean, at least the IRS gets you on penalties, abatements, and all this other whatever they call it, these fees and taxes, your mom tax. And I mean, they load it up to where next thing you know, you're like, holy cow. But yet, to insurance companies in the state of Florida, you're like, what is going on?
But you aren't happy? There was a 5% reduction in some of the premiums here lately.
No, after a 200% increase, you got a 5% reduction this year. That's wonderful.
So did I put on 195 pounds, or did I lose 5 pounds when I hit 200 pounds? So either way, I'm still obese.
Great analogy. So, but Brian, how if you're not represented, or let's say if they had a Hurricane Milton claim and they got one of those dumb letters that said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you got an $8,000 deductible, but you have $7,000 worth of damage. Sorry, have a great day." Those folks out there, how do they get a hold of you if they're in that same situation?
Yes, they can either go to our website and submit a claim at c2cadjuster.com and submit a claim through our website, or give me a call at 407-516-7277. And I can also be reached at Brian with an I at ccauaa.com. Excuse me. And send me the policy, the denial letter, or the estimate, and get a little brief explanation of what happened on the loss. And then we'll come out to on site and do a Matterport scan, so we have a 3D version of the loss, and write around estimate to get you a fair estimate.
And all that is, what's the cost for all of that?
Our fee is between 10 and 20%. If it's 10% if it's a hurricane, 20% if it's not.
And that's only if insurance proceeds are paid on any new money.
It's only new money. We don't take any money up front. We work on a contingency fee on the back end of what we collect.
So all that beginning stuff, you coming out there, rewriting their estimate for them, because whenever they first file a claim, the insurance company's saying, go get 3 estimates for the roof, go get 3 dry out estimates, go get 3 paint estimates. And they're just like, it's like their full-time job to get contractors out there for estimates, right? I mean, so, and then they find out they didn't get a fair shake because there are things that were missing in between the paint guy, the roofer guy, and the flooring guy, or whatever, right? And like you were saying, it's 200 to 300 times more than what you would estimate, and that's just because experience, right?
Experience, and also knowing what goes into the construction side of things as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you break it down into line items, we argue line items. So that's what I argue is line items, and when all our line items are met, because I could justify the line items, it equals a number at the end, which is a much larger, usually 200 to 350% more than what the insurance companies offered.
So you're going to come out, Matterport, scan it, redo their estimate forms, submit them, be the advocate, meet all of the adjusters out there, second visits with engineers or experts and all that other stuff. And that's no money transferred from insured to or client to you at that point.
No, I front all the costs on it until we get paid, until I get you money at the end. It's only paid when paid.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No recovery, no fee, and it really does help. I mean, if you're getting me 200 to 300 times more than what I could have done on my own, and I'm only breaking you off 10 or 20 points, that's amazing in my in the way I look at it. And it's more and more like just like I don't know. It's like I'm living in a world that I just don't understand anymore. When I was growing up, I would ding my door in my auto, and I would have auto insurance. So I'd be like, oh man, how much is that? Oh, $750. My deductible is $500. Well, I'm just going to file a claim because it's more than my deductible. That's why I have insurance, right? Same thing for your home. Right? So many people are scared to file a claim on their insurance. Like, whoa, it took me forever, to get this insurance, and I don't want to lose it, so I'm not going to file a claim. Maybe they'll renew me next year. I'm like, really? Why do you even have it if you're not going to use it, right? I mean, why don't you self-insure at this point? I just don't get it. But also, to your point, Brian, the policies are getting worse and worse. The folks are getting auto-renewed and on erosion of policy sent over to them with a lot of times with more money. Like my policy, I got auto-renewed. Luckily, they didn't sneak anything in there, but they jacked them up my price. And I was looking for any type of things that they slid into there. And you're telling me that they did it on you.
Yes.
So
yeah, Moldhouse and Belle Isle, they non-renewed me, and then as I was looking around for other policies, they threw a $10,000 water cap back in there and said, just kidding. It's an escrow. They took it out. I was like, well, hold on a second. I got a new policy. I said, well, if you want to cancel this one, you're going to lose your month of premiums, whatever it was. So dirty little secret. They're just trying to renew it and stick your limitations in the policy, and then hopefully you don't notice. And a lot of people don't ever read their policy. No. I'm like one of those few geeks that goes through the entire policy because I want to know what's in my policy and what I'm up against and where my holes are.
Well, one of the problems you run into if you are someone who wants to read the policy, if you read page 20, which let's say says, used to say things like, if the leak is within the ceiling, walls, or floors and unknown to any insured, then it's covered. So you reread that, and you go, oh, good. But then you go in the back, you're talking about at the end,
Special provisions.
all the endorsements say, you know what it said on that page 20? Yeah, we're taking that out and putting this in.
Yeah.
So they don't actually change the language in the policy or reprint the policy so you can read it as one document. And then you go back to an endorsement. It's like on page 12, item 3 is now deleted, and it says it replaces the word covered with not covered. And then the next line has this incredibly ambiguous statement about what it's going to say. So if you read the policy, you actually don't gain anything because it probably changed in the endorsements, like Brian was talking about.
Right.
Absolutely. There's so many times you got to read through the jacket of the policy, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, let me go back down to the very end. Everything you just read changed.
Right.
Yeah. You really got to be in touch with your inner Ben Affleck and the accountant, and just start tying things together. This is in here, it's in there. Well, luckily we live in a day and age of AI, so use your AI. I guess whatever your Chat GPTs. I use Gemini to your benefit. Right. Upload it into there and say, tell me what I'm covered for. Tell me what my exclusions are. Tell me what my caps are, and read the entire policy. Summarize it. Give it back to me.
I'll bet AI gets it wrong. I mean, I've been doing this for 30 years. Brian's probably the same number or more. And there are days I go, I'm not sure what that means exactly. What I would say, I did a...
That's not good when you don't understand what it means.
Well, I mean, that's what they say. It shouldn't require, as the case law says, it shouldn't require the quote-unquote Philadelphia lawyer to figure out what's covered and not covered. But I always like to say at the Kennon Law Group, and I'm sure Brian would say the same thing, artificial intelligence is replaced by actual intelligence, because we actually do know what we're doing, actually know what the things mean, know the nuance, understand the system, know the customs and practices, where a machine simply doesn't know those things and never will know those things. So, again, I'd suggest avoid artificial intelligence, stick with actual intelligence.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah. To your point, I would to what Brian says, like most people don't read their policy, right? Or don't want to sit there and read 90 pages of it. I'll go with me. I guess that's why I was pointing at myself. I'm not a detail guy to read all of that and connect it. I'm not the Ben Affleck guy. I'm more maybe a Matt Damon kind of guy, more of an action kind of guy. Anyway,
Like apples.
right. but yeah, no, I mean, I'm just like, with all of these things, it is just so, they're not supposed to be like that. HO3 policies aren't supposed to be like these surplus lines policies where they're what they're considered negotiable policies. And they consider HO3 policies non-negotiable, whereas this is what it is, you accept it or you don't, right? And so it's supposed to be that quote-unquote full coverage policy, and you go, okay, I'm covered in case of anything, and then you start reading through, and you're like, wait, what is this? It's not what was promised.
I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm still trying to figure out what inland marine means, because all those policies have a section for inland marine, and I'm like, okay, inland means inland, and marine means like ocean or saltwater. How can I have an inland marine policy? Because all those like Lloyd's policies, all this stuff, they're all an inland marine section. And I still stop. Well, for a long time, inherent vice had me too, for a long time. I finally figured out that was cast iron pipe. That's inherent vice. It just begins to destroy itself the moment it's placed where it's placed. But for years, I would ask adjusters, the policy says you don't cover inherent vice. What is that? And nobody knew. No adjuster ever said, oh, let me explain it to you, Mr. Kennon. I got this all figured out. Everyone was like, I don't know either, man.
But yet it's in the policy.
It's in the policy.
So I still don't get that, though. Walk it back to where you're saying that, what was that term for things that are placed in a property and it just dissolves? I mean, after time, doesn't everything eventually?
Yeah, I mean, but they don't cover inherent vice. And I'd say, well, what is that? And again, the only example I really have of it was when I started doing cast iron pipe work. And then I realized, I went, this is inherent vice. Like nobody said it to me. I just stopped and I went, something that begins to degrade or kill itself the moment it's placed in its environment. And cast iron pipe is the definition of inherent vice.
Well, you ask the insurance company's engineers, they would say that about the roof. Apparently it just eats itself. It dies within like 10 years or whatever, right, even though it has a 30-year life expectancy.
Speaking of insurance company engineers, has anybody ever seen one favor an insured?
I had a guy today, I had an adjuster today say, ma'am, to my client, sometimes we get it wrong. We'll send an engineer out, and if we get it wrong, we get it wrong a lot. And in my head, I said to my client, I said, I know this guy for years. He's never called me and said, we got an engineering report in. We were wrong. You were right. I mean, never. And the guy was like, oh, we're wrong all the time. And I'm like, not on my cases.
Right.
On my cases.
I get to see one.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah. It's like a magical unicorn.
You know, and you brought that up. I mean, the Professional Board of Engineers now, based off of this guy George Miles, who is an insurance company. We call him ICE, insurance company expert. That is just drink the Kool-Aid so much that he is now making complaints against other engineers.
Oh,
and now has taken it up to the board and saying that because the Professional Board of Engineers doesn't oversee forensic engineering, is opinion based. So now they want to start to oversee it and start to implement some possible changes. So we'll see. We'll bring that up as we move forward. I think they have a first meeting about it in March. So I'll continue to talk about that. So we're not for that at all. Definitely against that. And I'll tell you about it why on next show. But again, Brian, thank you so much for being here again. How do we get a hold of you?
Yes, my 407-516-7277. Our website is c2cadjuster.com, and you can submit a claim there, or email me at Brian with an I, BRIAN at ccauaa.com.
Love it. Hans Kennon, thank you so much. Good to see you back. Talk to you guys next week. Have a good week, too.
Thank you.